Hey everyone, it's Ryan with my Week 13 player updates. Last week, before we get into the rivalry games and then the conference championships, so pretty much wrapping up the season here. But make sure to like and subscribe to see what's going to be going on in the offseason. First player we have is Clev Lubin, edge out of Louisville. What a rough game for not just him but Louisville as well. He had a missed tackle. He didn't have a lot of pressure. He really didn't have much of an impact on the game. This was probably, again, his worst game of the season. You don't like seeing that at the end, but, they're going to have a bowl game. They should get a game this week, I think. So he'll have a little bit more time to boost his stock. But I still am very high on him. I would take him day 2 for sure. I have a feeling he'll probably go early day 3. All right. Then we get Isaiah Nokobia, safety out of SMU. Now, this was another player that felt nearly non-existent. He gave up one big play on a lone target. It was 28 yards on the one target that was sent his way. Watching the game, I kept trying to find him. He didn't seem to be around the ball. He wasn't really involved much in the game, and so that's not something necessarily you like to see. You like to see your safeties get involved a little bit more. But on the positive side, at least we didn't see him because he was making a huge play go for a touchdown or something like that. We got Cade Klubnik, quarterback out of Clemson. Played Furman, so not too much stock in this game at all, but he only had 16 passes. But again, he did have 2 big plays, and they were both for touchdowns. His wide receivers had 2 more drops. He's had a lot of drops this season. I think his wide receivers dropped like 18 passes or something like that. So I don't take too much stock in this game, but, he played okay. D'Angelo Pons did not have a game this week. Whit Weeks returned from injury with a few snaps. Didn't get on the stat sheet, but I think it was only like 13 or 14 snaps, so can't really take anything into it for him there either. I would be interested to see if he comes back. I don't think he wanted to end the season the way that he did, especially because I felt like he was playing pretty well early in the season. So it'd be interesting to see if he comes back for another season to boost his stock, hopefully. We'll see. The Godfather, Dante Corleone. Now, this one was interesting. He had this huge play while I was watching the game where he blew up the middle of the offensive line, which basically completely messed up the reverse play that they were trying to run, which led to a big 9-yard loss. And it would have been he would have been a big factor in a massive upset if the Bearcats kicker could make kicks. But I do think this was his best game since his injury. He definitely got some pressure. I think he had 3 pressures and was solid in the run, despite BYU having a good day on the ground. They didn't run right at him very much. They went around him. But pretty solid game for him. Darius Taylor, running back out of Minnesota. Minnesota is not great. But he did have 10 rushes for 43 yards and a touchdown, as well as 6 catches for 37 yards. He has been an efficient and good all-around guy lately, and I do think he has been one of the brighter spots of their team, even though their team has not been very good. Joe Royer, tight end out of Cincinnati. Again, only 2 targets. The Bearcats had wide receivers dropping balls left and right, and quite possibly the most sure-handed guy on the team gets 2 targets for 13 yards. He caught both, but in a fit of anger, I wrote, I hate Scott Satterfield and Brad Glenn. I don't really, but it's so frustrating watching a player of Joe Royer's caliber be wasted. Again, he's going to go to the NFL this year, I'm pretty sure, and he's going to end up starring for a team. I am very confident in that. Eric McAllister, wide receiver out of TCU, only had 3 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. He had 2 contested catches, so limited on the catches, but the yards were good. He had a nice touchdown, and those contested catches. Seen more of what I want to see from him. He has had such a great back half of the season. Taron Tayo, the guard out of Cincinnati. This was one of those. The grades are bad, but I honestly disagree with the grades. I watched this entire game because I'm a Bearcats fan, and he did allow 2 pressures. But what I saw was it seemed like the center and him were not on the same page. From my perspective, and only him and the center would know this, but it seemed like the center was taking the wrong player on multiple occasions. Like there was a handful of plays where I saw the center go to the left and take a guy that was already covered by the left guard, and then it made Tayo have to choose between the guy coming up the middle or the guy on the right, and so it ended up causing some confusion and ended up leaving guys left unblocked and caused some issues. So again, I don't think it was as bad a game as the grades would say, but that's why it's important to watch the film too. Brian Parker, the second out of Duke. He did get bullied in the run game today. He wasn't very effective there, but I felt like he was a bully in the pass game. So really good game for him in that perspective. And then Duke, I did believe, brought home the win, which is great. Mark Gronowski out of Iowa, the quarterback, got some yards in the ground, but he gave the ball away twice and was wildly inaccurate. So he's one of those guys that it'll be interesting to see what happens. Wouldn't be surprised to see him like up in the CFL or in the UFL or something like that. But at this point, the guy that I had a lot of high hopes for coming out, transferring to the FBS, was one of the ones that let me down this year. Now, David Bailey, edge, had no game, which is the only reason he didn't like blow people away. And then John Michael Gillenborg, the tight end out of Wyoming, he caught both of his targets for 32 yards and was solid in a pass blocker. He has started to play a little bit better the last few weeks. So you like to see that. He's bounced back a little bit towards the end of the season. But that's all my guys. I'm still going to make sure to give you an update next week, as well as during the conference championship week. If I have any guys playing, I'll do a quick update. And then Matt and I are going to get right into talking about the bowl games, the CFP, and then it is heavy into draft season. And I'm also going to be reaching out and trying to talk to a lot more players if I can, because it's a lot easier to talk to them in the off season. So as always, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.